Well, good afternoon everyone and welcome to Portsmouth Westley Park for the final group stage game of the Subway League Cup for this season for your West Ham United. They travel down to the south coast, of course. Their last opponent was another team that were rivals to this side, Portsmouth. And of course, West Ham go into this game off the back of 2 straight victories. So the morale will be high. Thank you for joining us, everyone, on this live stream. You're joined with me, Ollie Ordis. We'll go through the team lineups now, starting with the hosts, of course, coached by Jay Sadler. And he puts Comfort Erbahor in goal, of course, has been with the club just for over a year now. Obviously came in on loan from Brighton and then made that permanent in the summer. Only been used in the League Cup, so she's in between the sticks once again. The captain, Jasmine Bull, alongside other players like Ella Rutherford, who knows how to pop up with a goal here and there, so that's someone West Ham will need to look out for. The same also goes for top goal scorer Megan Hornby, who's currently got 5 goals this season. She hasn't scored yet in the League Cup, but she'll be looking to try and get her account underway as Portsmouth are searching for their first goal in this competition. Substitutions, of course, the other goalkeeper, Jessica Gray, the one that's usually used in the WSL2. She's on the bench alongside Jessie Woolley, Tia Primmer, Chloe Sheffield and Jessie Gale. As for your Irons, of course, back in goal in the League Cup, Megan Walsh. She makes her 4th appearance in the season. And Amber Tisiak, what a moment she had on Sunday, scoring her first goal of the campaign and getting West Ham second against Everton to get them underway in the WSL. Finally, they've got a win. Amber Cheeky, of course, she missed the game against Everton. She's back in the squad alongside other players like Fionn Morgan, who was benched against Southampton, came on to score a goal, as we all know. She is starting this time around. Layla Wanderler, of course, she makes her first start in 3 games, alongside other players like Verena Hanshaw, who also makes her 3rd consecutive start. The bench for your Irons, Katie O'Hanlon, Una Siren, of course, Eva Nystrom, Anouk Denton, Shakira Martinez and Emily Taylor-Brown. So you can see the referee there in the purple, waiting to get these sides out onto this lovely grass pitch in the southern sun. A beautiful day in November as we're closing in on the end of the calendar year. Just 2 more games of 2025 after this. Man United away, Liverpool at home. Big games coming up for the Irons, but their attention goes to Pompey today. The job isn't done yet in terms of getting the 100% record. They've qualified, so actually the job is done, but they want to keep that perfect record still intact. And in their way, of course, is the side in the WSL2, who are currently in their 2nd season. They're 9th in the Women's Super League 2, or what was known as the Women's Championship before this summer. They played 9 games, they're on 9 points, 3 wins, 6 defeats, 13 goals scored and 24 conceded. Of course, they have had better performances of late. Pompey won 2 of their last 3, winning 2 in a row. Sunderland with a dramatic 3-2 win. They were 2-1 down, and then in the 90th minute onwards they then managed to make it 3-2. So a big result there. And another big result against Crystal Palace, who of course were relegated from the WSL last campaign. They're back in the WSL too, but they're struggling, it has to be said. And that's something that we didn't expect. So a defeat there against Pompey. However, they are coming off the back of a 5-2 defeat versus Birmingham City. Alongside enjoying this campaign up towards the higher end of the WSL2. And there are your Irons in the away strip. Looking forward to this one. Kick-off just 4 minutes away. If you're just joining us, thank you very much on this West Ham live stream out on TikTok and YouTube. So good afternoon to you, everyone. You're joined with me, Ollie Ordis. I'll just run you through the side, which you can see there, about to have their squad photo taken for this 4th game in the Women's League Cup. Megan Walsh in goal with Amber Tisiak in defence, alongside Celine Samal, Hallie Hussein and Inez Bellamou. And of course other players in the side, Layla Wanderler, Verena Hanshaw, Sarah Brazero Carrera, Anna Cheeky, and of course up front Fionn Morgan and Vivian Asayi, who of course scored a brace in the last group stage game against Southampton just over a week ago. A really impressive performance from the substitutes who really changed the game. It was 0-0 up until the 64th minute, and then all of a sudden we finished the game at the Chigwell Construction Stadium with a 5-0 scoreline in favour of West Ham. The substitutes really did change the game. And of course, one of the game changers in that evening's performance, Shakira Martinez, she is on the bench. However, Rhian Skinner putting faith in Vivian Asseyi to really kick things off this afternoon, as they want to end it with a 100% record. Qualified already for the quarter-finals. Now it's just a case of finishing on 12 points. So Tisiak and Jasmine Bolt having their final words and coin toss with the assistant referees and the main one in the middle, swapping sides as West Ham will be playing from left to right. Of course, Anna Tisiak leading her side out. What a leader in the heart of defence. The Belgium, a really key player for this West Ham side. Good to see her get her goal last Sunday, of course. A really positive afternoon for West Ham against Everton. Kate Longhurst, unfortunately not with me today, but she's saying, of course, against Southampton now, that's a must-win game. And when you look at the table now, and Everton are on 5 points, West Ham are on 4, if they hadn't have won that, then of course the league and the morale would be very different compared to what it could be now. Of course, West Ham now off bottom spot. Liverpool at the bottom now, and they do play them in 2 games' time. They'll be focused on this one now against a side who got promoted from the Women's National League South in 2024. Last season they didn't have the best of campaigns until March, where they recorded their first win. They only won 2 games all season, so were fortunate enough to stay up with that record. This season they've already beaten that tally and have got 3 wins to their name already. So a better season compared to last so far. But they haven't enjoyed the League Cup as much as West Ham have. Of course, there's a big difference in both sides. One main difference is the fact that West Ham, of course, are a bigger club and have got a better structure in terms of where their women's are currently at in their domestic league. But Pompey going into this game having lost to Brighton 2-0, Southampton 1-0, so yet to score. Their game against Charlton is still to be arranged. But Pompey will try and just play it down this left-hand side here at the Wesley Stadium, with the bright sun shining down on this cold afternoon. West Ham have a chance in their final third to try and get an early goal. It's flicked towards Layla Wanderler and goes out for a goal kick. So unfortunately for West Ham, they're unable to make something count in the first minute, and it will be the first goal kick of the game for Comfort Erhabor. Just 20 years of age, the young English goalkeeper. Was on loan from Brighton last season, then signed permanently at the beginning of this one. They tried to nod it forward, tidily passed over towards Tisiak. She's just got Wanderler trying to make an option. Instead she goes it out to her left-hand side. Asseyi trying to hold it up. West Ham players around her believe that there was a foul, but the referee just wants play to continue, and Portsmouth will look to try and play something down their right-hand side. Overhit there, and the throw is taken quickly. See Wanderler trying to just stretch play for West Ham. And it's just tidied up by Hallie Hussein, who of course has recently been called up to the Turkish under-23 squad in the upcoming international break. Albeit they're not playing a game, they're just having a training camp, but that'll certainly be a good thing for Hallie Hussein. A real chance for her to show what she can do on an international level. The referee just blowing her whistle for an offside on the number 11 Megan Hornby. The free kick taken quickly and short. Here's Tisiak again. See Inez Bellamy just trying to poke it down the left-hand side. Of course, just saw a flag there about Jay Sadler, who's been the coach of Portsmouth since November 2016, became the first full-time professional for the women's side of the club in June 2022. Recently took charge of his 250th game at the club, and he had previously been an assistant coach before he was appointed head coach last year. A real instrumental figure at the club, and that's why you can see he's got legendary status with the flags around the ground here at Westley Stadium. What a journey he's been on. He's taken Portsmouth all the way from non-league in women's football to professional football now. Of course, this year they created a professional game academy to ensure there was a professionalised player development pathway for players aged 16 to 21. Free kick going the way of Portsmouth. As I say, just let it run through her. Then it was picked up by Jemima Dahu, who's then brought down by the French striker. Here's Hussein, looking to clip it over towards that left. CSA's been deployed as a left winger in this game so far in the opening 5 minutes. And of course, Verena Hanshaw leading the line. Finds its way over towards Emma Jones. He's up against Wanderler. Wanderler just sticking in an arm. Doesn't get past Tisiak. And here's Hussein. West Ham confident with the ball at their feet, especially when Portsmouth are in their final third. You just see Megan Hornby going in to press the left centre half. Here's Dahu. Just finds herself running into danger, but Asai will pick it up in a tight space and then send it over towards Layla Wanderler. And she has a heavy touch. Portsmouth win it back. And Wanderler not wanting to give it up, but Jones will send one central. Easily headed away into the path of Cheeky. And she is the Hungarian. Tisiak. He's trying to go with a direct approach, but Asai's hold-up play isn't the best there. Just lets her down and allows Portsmouth to try and regroup and make a move from the back. Here's Bull. Charging forwards and winning a throw-in. Hussein sliding it nicely through to Field Morgan, and the pace is able to gain yards for West Ham as they look to try and get their first opportunity on goal, just over Wanderler there. But it was a nice move and Morgan was involved right in the thick of it. Of course, her pace is such an asset to West Ham. The way she's able to just drive at players. We saw her do it when she came on against Southampton. Now she really terrorised the defenders after coming on as a substitute in the second half. Celine Samal is in close territory. Tisiak playing like an attacking midfielder at the moment. And it'll find its way back to the Pompey goalkeeper. Of course, there's been better performances from West Ham. It's not like they were always down and out in games, but it was just about creating more chances and trying to score more goals, which sounds really simple on paper, but in practice it's much harder. And they're going into this game unbeaten in 3. Of course, they won their last 2 for the first time this season. It's the first time West Ham have won 2 consecutive games since January, where they beat Tottenham 2-1 in the League Cup and then Everton in the Women's Super League. So funny enough, it sort of mirrors the last 2 games in that they registered a win in the League Cup and then against Everton in the WSL. Of course, the Hammers apparently just had a lock with Portsmouth in the opening 9 minutes here, having more of the ball. But we saw this against Southampton in the last game, where Southampton really came out from the first minute showing some intention, but it was just the substitutions that really changed the game in the first half, where they tried to chase it once they went a goal down but just couldn't quite get back, and West Ham were able to just extend their lead, it felt like, with every chance they got. Questionable calls there for a handball. What do you think at home? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching these streams on the West Ham YouTube channel and TikTok. I think it's fair to say that was a handball, so West Ham will feel hard done by in the opening 10 minutes here. You could see all of them saw it and raised their arms to signal to the referee that it should have been a penalty. Perhaps it was very close to the defender, but still, you've seen them given. So 10 minutes gone, West Ham with a penalty call that's been declined, and it remains goalless. No chances yet for either side. Both sides really cancelling each other out, neither getting into a groove. Sort of happened for West Ham against Southampton when they came up against a really organised defence in that first half. Southampton showed that they weren't afraid to be direct when they came up to East London. That's something Megan Walsh will have to deal with in the second half. The sun gleaming down on the goal to our right hand side. So far she doesn't have to worry, but that's one thing as a goalkeeper I really wouldn't like. Perhaps a cap may be required. I'd certainly choose to have that if I had the sun gleaming down at me whilst having to keep the ball out the back of the net. Trying to find a Sei. Instead, Greta Humphreys is in the way. And now back to Erhebor. Just awkwardly falls over as she tried sending it over towards the left-hand side of the Portsmouth attack, as it will be picked up by Wanderler. Here's Chicky. Back to Tisiak. Nice 1-2 with Chicky as they look to try and break this Portsmouth midfield, but it's a sloppy ball forward and all the way back into the territory of the Portsmouth goalkeeper. Of course, these two sides did meet last year in last season's Women's League Cup game. Of course, West Ham were 6-1 winners that evening, with braces from Asayi and Emma Harries, as well as goals from Sarina Piobel and Rico Ueki, who aren't involved in the squad this time around. Of course, Vivian Asayi is starting, but as for Emma Harries, Piobel and Ueki, all absent. Here's Bellamy. Inez Bellamy only played 2 games, 2 full 90s that is, this season, both of those coming in the League Cup against Southampton and Charlton. So this competition does provide an opportunity for those fringe players who may not get the minutes in the WSL. You can see Sarah Bracero Carrera just getting knocked as she played it towards Bellamy, who was then the one sliding in as she tried to play it in towards the penalty area. She's just being consoled by the player that left that mark, Jasmine Bull, the 23-year-old captain, a Scottish under-23 player. Got an assist in their last game where they lost 5-2 to Birmingham. The West Ham have a free kick. It's their first free kick of the game in the Portsmouth half, just before the quarter of an hour mark. A chance for them to try and test the goalkeeper. It will be Say, the one responsible to send this ball in. Bellamy, the one who won the free kick, in closest proximity. Say will be aiming this in towards the penalty area, and it's a low ball and almost finds a player. It does, and comes off a Portsmouth defender, and then it's collected quickly by Comfort Erhabor. The player who got the final touch, I believe, was Layla Wanderler. Oh, in fact, it was Verena Hanshaw who was towards that back post, tried to slide it across the 6-yard penalty area. Well, that shows the danger that West Ham can impose on Portsmouth. The moment the ball left Asai's boot, it didn't look like it was going to end up testing the Portsmouth defence. But I was wrong in thinking that, as Hanshaw managed to find the ball as it went through that cluster of players in the penalty area. West Ham just starting to show signs now of their superiority. Here's Fionn Morgan. Tries to send it across and will now get a corner. A lot of changes going into this game made by Rianne Skinner since their 3-1 win against Everton last Sunday. Only 3 players who started that game start this one, in Tisiak, Hanshaw and Asai. And here is Hanshaw sending one in. And another corner will be the outcome. Now Hanshaw to try and make the second corner better than the next one. Spilled by the goalkeeper, scuffed away and then struck just inside the area from Asai. Now a chance for Portsmouth to try and counter, but they almost opened the scoring there, West Ham. It was a dangerous ball in from Hanshaw, and Erhabor, the goalkeeper, would have been worried after she punched it away and didn't really get any distance afterwards. As we have a look at the replay, it was a really nicely curled in ball, keeper spilling it. Chicky was there, awkwardly cleared away from Jones, who scuffed the effort. And then Portsmouth, for a brief moment, looked like they could have really taken the game away from West Ham. 17 minutes gone, and we're starting to see more chances and more action in the penalty area. Portsmouth, of course, holding their own. Haven't yet test the Portsmouth defence, or West Ham defence even. Say troubling Dahu to the extent she gives away a foul. CJ Sadler there just organising his players. And I think with a slight shirt pull and then a little elbow. Jemima Dahoud straight away knew that was a foul as she looked towards the referee. So a chance for Portsmouth to try and test Megan Walsh and her defence. Almost every player back for West Ham. There's Hannah Cohn, who's played every game since February for Portsmouth. 18 consecutive games after she signed from Blackburn in 2024. Certainly a good record, a trusted player. The defender, only 23 years of age and already played a lot of football. Pizzero stuck around a few royal blue shirts. Wilding will just play it back to Erhabor. Here's Cohn. Back to Wilding. Portsmouth just having to be patient. West Ham being organised. And not allowing Portsmouth a clear body to play to try and unlock their defence. Erhabor has to really play as another defender. The distance she's outside of her goal. But West Ham will be pleased that they're able to win the ball back and have a throw in the opponent's half. Here's Pizzero. Brought down. Wins a free kick. Now Lasay's ball actually delivered in towards Verena Hanshaw. It's just a couple of yards in front of where it is now, but it looks like it'll be a different type of free kick this time round with the short pass. Here's Chicky. Lovely drop of the shoulder, taking it forward. And gets fouled in the process. Really nice first touch, and the way she just took it with her left foot around the opponent. This time we will see another Asseyi delivery as they look to try and take it a step further than the one we saw before. Asseyi floated towards that back post, coming off a Portsmouth head. That's miskicked completely from Emma Jones. It's a good run. Now it'll be Morgan. May look to send in a ball, but instead she plays the neat pass towards Hanshaw, who's been lively in this game so far, just after the 20th minute. But this is a really promising ball as Portsmouth have managed to almost get a one-on-one. This could be a potential red card. No foul even. If that was a foul, West Ham would be down to 10. There's no doubt about that. Megan Hornby, who was through on goal, just had the goalkeeper until the defender came around her and did her job immaculately. But what a ball that was. Getting in behind Inez Bellamou. I'm not too sure if that's a foul or not. Do let us know what you think in the comments. As West Ham have a chance to open the scoring. First time Erhabor's been tested with a shot on goal. That comes from Layla Wanderler, the 19-year-old, who's looking for a second goal of the season. Nice turn. She shifted it onto her left foot, but just quite couldn't find the corner that she was aiming for. But just before then, could have been the best chance of the game. But if it wasn't for Bellamou, Portsmouth would have had a one-on-one and then probably gone a goal up. Of course, they would have had Megan Walsh in goal to beat, who's had a really good competition so far, made some brilliant saves against Brighton. Probably got quite cold against Southampton at times, wasn't really required for long periods of the game. But she's been really good in between the sticks when needed. A courageous goalkeeper that just instills defence in this West Ham back line. So perhaps that's why they felt so confident when Megan Hornby was one-on-one. As they knew they had a real shot stopper. Ali Hussein, unwilling to give the ball up until now. But it does show what Portsmouth can do. Shows how they can have the ability to unlock West Ham. Just can't quite get that final edge in the final third that they need to really test the Irons. Here's Erhabal. Nice layoff towards the right-hand side, but it's easily won back. Inez Bellamou. And safely back to Walsh. It's got Megan Hornby running in. Clipping it over towards her left-back. Morgan just caught in a tight area there, but she dealt with the ball really well. And an offside is the outcome. There's lots of other League Cup action going on today and yesterday. Of course, Birmingham and Aston Villa in that Midlands derby went to penalties and Birmingham won. Of course, Manchester City beat Nottingham Forest 2-0. And then, of course, Liverpool 4-1 up against Sheffield United. All goalless in the other games. Ipswich facing London City Lionesses. Southampton hosting Charlton. Sunderland hosting Durham. And Newcastle hosting Everton. Here is Tisiak, finding its way through to Asseyi. Clipped over the top, but doesn't find a West Ham attacker, and instead it will be passed forward by Portsmouth. Unable to find Cone, and instead Lola Wanderler will have a throw in to take quickly. Here is Wanderler with a return pass back from Samau. Collects that pass nicely, and here's Chicky. Say trying to hold off a defender. She's got her all over her though. Say trying to wiggle some room to pull off a strike. Here is Wanderler, who will go for goal, but it's poorly hit and safely collected by Erhabal. Good work from Asseyi though to draw in a couple of defenders. I think Wanderler just shot in a bit too early there. Didn't really gather herself before she wanted to take that strike, and just leaning back as well. Hard to create power from that distance when you're sort of leaning back and your body just isn't in the perfect balance for that strike. So 26 minutes gone. Still 0-0 of course. Portsmouth yet to register a shot on target. And they did come close to goal, but if it wasn't for Inez Bellamou saving the day right at the end, and Portsmouth could be in a much different position compared to now. Here's Wanderler. Bizarro just fouling her opponent in Jemima Dahoud. Jemima Dahoud, the number 42 midfielder, played at Portsmouth since 2023 after making the move from arch rivals Southampton. So someone that was happy to change the southern colours of red and white to all blue. I'm sure how that would have gone down with Southampton at the time. She's been ever present really for Portsmouth, just 23 years of age. Here is Dahu. Chicky. Trying to play it down that left-hand side, but Portsmouth read it well. Signs of Inez Bellamu's tenacity there. I had to get my teeth in to at least say that word right for the third time around. But she wasn't unwilling to give that one up as she chased it towards the byline and showed her tenacious nature. There we go. Almost 30 minutes played. Just creeping out of play. As we are in the southern sun here, glistening down. How's everyone's afternoons going? Where are you watching from? Of course, we know we're live on TikTok and on YouTube. So do say hello, do give a like. Let us know who your players of the match have been so far in the first third of the game. Inez Bellamu's had a brilliant game so far. The way she's defended, the way she's joined in the attack and tried to link defence and attack has really been noticeable. Of course, Amber Tissiak, the captain, showing her leadership at times as well. Joanna Hanshaw could have had a chance to get an assist, of course, after Say's ball in earlier on in this first half. So some good performances so far from West Ham. Still feel like they haven't really got going in terms of what we would be used to seeing in this League Cup. But that's happened, I think, in most of the games, really. Of course, the Charlton game, they were brilliant in and scored 5 goals, just like they did against Southampton. But it did take until the final 25 minutes to really get their shooting boots together. As for Brighton, the first half and second half were complete polar opposites. That first 45, it felt like Brighton were in the ascendancy throughout, having gone 1-0 up and taking that into the half-time break. Only to then concede 2 goals in the second half and have it change significantly. Oh, the player for Portsmouth would have been through there if it wasn't for Celine Samal's interception, so good work there from the 18-year-old. So where are you watching from on this Sunday afternoon? We're currently here at Portsmouth, 0-0. In West Ham's final group stage game as they look on to the quarter-finals. Of course, last year they got to the semis against Chelsea where they got knocked out, who eventually ended up winning the competition. Of course, West Ham will want to go a step further. It does provide them with a nice bit of respite from the league. A really good way to build momentum back into their season with victories like they have done. It's a decent ball from Hussein. It's picked up and struck from outside the area from Bellamu. Did have her ball going towards it, and I think she knew that it was just going wide once she was on the ground. It was a weak header away from the box, but Bellamu just scuffs it wide. Sent forward by Megan Hornby. Say over towards Hussein. Rosario Carrera looking for a first goal for the Irons. Just caught out there. Nicely worked towards Wanderler. Will swing one in towards that back post. The acrobatic strike from Asei, looking to try and open the scoring in an emphatic way. Rosario Carrera dealing with the ball nicely in a tight area. And Wanderler getting a good height on the ball for Asei to smash it into the side of the captain's face and Jasmine Ball. She was hardly affected by that though, which shows the strength of her. It was right in the chin as well from close distance. So say you almost got the opener, now swings one in looking for a head, but instead will find an offside, and that corner and chance comes to a disappointing early end. Unsure what the issue was there. Clearly a foul. Didn't really see a clear one. Ball just taking her time as we approach the final 12 minutes of this first half. Portsmouth with a rare chance on the ball in the West Ham half, but it looks promising. So they look to try and cut it back, but it's an important header away from Hussein. The first yellow card is about to be dished out, and that's going to go to Ava Robotham, the 25-year-old. Central midfielder, now having to walk the rest of the game on ice. Well, thank you everyone for letting us know where you're watching from. Greetings from France, somebody says. Good afternoon to you, and the one watching from Norway as well, and more close to home from Grays and East Ham. Thank you everyone for joining us, of course, on this live stream. Can we now see West Ham try and go a goal up? Say he's dragged out wide. Rosero's in there, as is Morgan. And then it's struck over. And it's probably going to end up in someone's back garden. Or front garden, depending on where the house is facing. Not a bad place to live if you fancy seeing some WSL 2 football for free, or even some League Cup action. I wonder what the insurance policy would be for those windows as well. So just over 10 minutes to go. Portsmouth have had chances, not in terms of actually getting the ball struck at goal, but certainly getting the ball into dangerous areas, getting bodies forward, but West Ham have defended really well in both instances where Portsmouth have got it going, have headed the ball towards their final third. West Ham have just had players in the right place at the right time to intercept and not allow Portsmouth to have any sort of play in their own final third. So West Ham have defended this well. They only conceded 2 goals in this competition. It's a sloppy pass there from Wanderler. As Bull will look to try and gain yards on West Ham, but not for long, as they now come forward through Bellamu, swinging one towards Hanshaw. Here's Bracero Carrera. That's a good delivery. Asai once again swinging her leg at it. Chicky goes to loft one over towards Asai, and she's just unable to reach the ball chipped over from the Hungarian. A slick ball just over hit for Asai's position. Goes away with West Ham, and I think you can tell by the Portsmouth players' frustration that they do not agree with the referee there. Bracero to win it. Perhaps it was slightly unfair, but as West Ham fans, we don't mind. Hornby and Bull, the 2 Portsmouth players that will be making the wall. Feels like every free kick we've had for West Ham has been in the same position. It's been a save from that left channel. He looks to send in a ball. This time it'll be on goal, but it's off target and into the stand. And That's disappointing from Vivian Asseyi. Looking to try and catch the goalkeeper out. West Ham just holding off the press for now. Zerhabor does have her two centre-halves side by side to her, but you do feel like they could just put on a bit more pressure, try and really get Zerhabor under that pressure to try and force a mistake. But so far they're reluctant to do that. And Fionn Morgan's just sitting outside the centre circle. Again, Tissiak collects. Ali Hussein to Walsh's right, and she'll choose the Belgium centre half. It's a nice pass from Asseyi. She'll get it returned to her. First time in, and there's a chance. It comes off Chicky. I think a Portsmouth player was the one that got the final touch, or maybe it wasn't actually. It was Chicky. Nope. Wrong on both occasions. Chopping and changing. The decision. And it will be a corner. I did think it came off a Portsmouth player. It was a nice move down the left-hand side. Thought Chicky was actually the one that got the final touch, but it was one of the Pompey defenders. So a chance for West Ham again as we close in on what's been a fairly uneventful first half, but there still have been promising moves from West Ham as they look to try and make that promise into something more certain, as they try to look for the first goal of the game. But Zerhabor will collect, and she goes down as if she may have just been knocked there, and she may have to be looked at. I'm not sure what happened. I have to see a replay of this. Tissiak goes in. She holds her head. Now, I don't want to assume that she's going down for theatrics' sake, but based off that replay, I didn't really see much contact there from Tissiak. Hopefully she's okay, the 20-year-old. She will have to be the first player that receives some medical attention so far of this game. It's just under 5 minutes, and there's been a couple of goals in the League Cup around the grounds. Of course, Everton have gone a goal up against Newcastle. London City Lionesses have gone a goal up at Ipswich. Still goalless in Sunderland, Durham, Southampton, Charlton, and of course Pompey, West Ham. So just some late first half tactic team talks from Rianne Skinner. And thank you all for the conversation you're having in the chat right now. Someone said they're watching from Thailand. Let us know what time. Thank you, Brendan, watching from Bath. A lot of fans in the chat as well, showing their support for Fionn Morgan. Of course, fellow Welsh viewers, good afternoon to you as well. If you're just joining us, of course, as you can see, the scoreline is 0-0. Comfort Zerhabor currently just down, receiving some attention after, I think, a head clash by the way she went down with Amber Tissiak. All West Ham players all good to carry on, and receive some talk from Rianne Skinner and the rest of her coaching staff. Of course, this is the last game before the international break, the second international break of the season. And after the last one, Rianne Skinner praised her side's attitude since returning after the first international break. Of course, it's been a positive October and November, after what started as a really poor beginning in the WSL. There was a positive display against Manchester City, although it was just a defeat, a slender 1-goal defeat against a side aiming to win the competition. Then their first league point, albeit it was a really disappointing result in the end, which did feel like 2 points dropped, but still a point on the board in the draw against Leicester, and then an unbeaten run at Chigwell Construction Stadium, the 5-0 win against Southampton, and then the 3-1 win against Everton. So 2 wins and a draw in the last 3 matches, and Skinner did say her side needed a reset. They got the reset, and since then they've looked like a better force at picking up points and wins. So hopefully West Ham will come back off the second international break with even better form, which can hopefully see them steer their way away from relegation. Of course, the side that finishes bottom, however, won't necessarily go down, as they'll play a relegation decider game against the side in third from the WSL 2. As we can tell, the game has been resumed. 90 seconds left of the first half, plus whatever will need to be added on. I can't imagine it being any more than 3 or 4 minutes, given the recent stoppage. Tisiak, somehow trying to call for the ball. She receives it. And feeds in a nice pass as Hanshaw just tries to move the defender away. In fact, it was Bracero Carrera. And she was in an offside position. Theon Morgan. But it looked like a good ball from Samau, as Morgan just dragged the defender away to then open up room for her colleague, who was unfortunately in an offside position. Nice touch from Bracero. The pass goes through her legs, and who will just clear things up. The save. Bull will clear it forward, unable to gain any real distance on that. So 3 minutes added on. As the ball switched over towards that left-hand side for West Ham. Megan Hornby trying to receive it. She doesn't have any time. And West Ham close it down quickly, trying to make something happen of their own. So now, just back to Walsh. Giving her some time on the ball. She hasn't had to make a save so far in this first half. Similar sort of game to Southampton. Albeit there were a couple of occasions where she was tested to make a save. In large parts, she was not required. There's a chance now. Wanderler. Straight into a Portsmouth body, but cleared away. And out for another West Ham throw. Fan just being a ball boy. Here's Wanderler. Dealing with the ball nicely in this tight space, pulling it back. Finding another Portsmouth player to clear it away. Tisiak. This is a really good run forward as they look to try and find a Say, who goes for goal. Straight into the gloves of Erhabor. And then brings the ball straight down. As if it was the 90th minute and her side were a goal up. Unsure why she's doing that so early on in this game, but I guess we are approaching the half-time break, and perhaps she just wants her side to go in 0-0 so that they can regroup and organise themselves ready for another second half, which will be tough as West Ham have controlled this game. Make Portsmouth chase it as they've kept the ball for large portions of it. Here's a save. As the referee will blow a whistle any time from now, you'd imagine. As Portsmouth can try and make something happen. And that is the end of the first half. Goalless at the break after a couple of chances, but no real testing from West Ham on Comfort Herbal. As for Megan Walsh, she'll probably have been a bit cold in that first half performance, as she wasn't required to make a save. Only got given the ball when her defence were passing it to her. But it ends here, 0-0 at half-time. We'll be back in just under 15 minutes' time for the start of the second half. Welcome back everyone. Portsmouth 0, West Ham 0 as we head into the second half. West Ham will want to try and win this game so that they can keep and finish the group stage of this League Cup with a 100% record. Of course, the side in Portsmouth who have nothing really to play for apart from trying not to finish bottom. They've lost every game. 1-0 against Southampton, 2-0 against Brighton. But so far, 0-0 against their toughest opponent yet. But it was this same scoreline against Southampton. Then we started to see the likes of Asai and Martinez come on, who really made matters better for West Ham. Asai has been a bright spark so far for the Hammers so far, but hasn't been able to find the back of the net. Thank you for joining us everyone on TikTok, on YouTube for this live West Ham YouTube channel stream. The second half up next as West Ham look to try and make it 4 wins in 4 in the League Cup. Go into the international break on an unbeaten run of 4, which would be really, really positive. Of course, a lot of players called up for the international break. In October, it was a women's team record. 20 Hammers were away to represent their countries, and Skinner praised West Ham and the players due to their representation on the international stage. He said it's a huge achievement for all of the players, but it's also a credit to the environment that we're creating and the progress that West Ham have made as a football club over the last 2 years in terms of the calibre of players that they're bringing into the team. He said it's really important for players to play for their national sides. Of course, it is a huge honour to play for your country, and the fact that West Ham have got so many players playing for their country speaks volumes. Of course, Ali Hussein has been called up to Turkey. Celine Samal has been called up to the Turkey under-23s. So congratulations on their call-ups amongst plenty of others in this squad. No substitutions made at half-time. You can see the sun going down as it'll be dark in an hour and a half. That's the time of year we're in. And this time round, Megan Walsh will have to deal with the sun glaring into her eyes as it goes down on the south coast. A save from the left, getting the first corner of the second half. Good work there. She looks to try and make something happen. Try and make a corner count. So low ball played in. It does find a player as they try to pull off a strike. The sun glaring down on the camera, unable to really get an idea of what's going on, as Asai will hang one in, headed away on the goal line. A good start from West Ham as they look to have tried to almost open the scoring. Clip forward, here's Tisiak letting the ball just go in front. She looks to make it 2 goals in 2 games, but even if she did find the back of the net, it would have been offside. But look here, the chance struck from Tisiak. They had the goalkeeper scrambling towards that bottom corner. Erhabor will take the free kick. A flurry of chances there, a goalmouth scramble in the opening 2.5 minutes of the second half. Portsmouth looking to get their first attack of the second period. It's a heavy touch, but it's kept down nicely, then struck from range. The execution lacking from that strike just outside the box. It was nicely laid off, but just struck a bit too soon from Rowbotham. Would have taken a lot to beat Meg Walsh from that range. Say laying it off as they try to find Bellamou down the left. Launched away from Bellamou's direction. Thrown to West Ham. Here's Bellamou. Greta Humphreys clearing it away. As Say wants to take the throw quickly, but she's held up as she doesn't feel she's got an option, but now she does. And it's Bellamy to take the throw. Morgan looking to just try and sort her feet out as she's in a congested area. Bellamy, first time ball in. Cleared away by Freeland. Back to Tisiak. Bellamy. Last touch was off the Algerian. So a home side throw. Hanshaw over towards Assayi. Just loses out to Portsmouth there, but West Ham's tenacity means they win it back. Bellamy. See the nice idea as Morgan races. Well, it's Bracero, in fact, racing to the ball up against Erhabor, who did just have a slight yard advantage on Bracero. Now she'll take the goal kick in her own time, as we saw her do that in the first half. In fact, she won't be the one to take it, it'll be the centre half instead. Here's Hornby. Hasn't quite yet been able to get into the game yet so far, Megan Hornby. The top goal scorer looking to try and make something happen now. She's up against Hanshaw. And Hanshaw does not give her a space at all. Winning it back effortlessly. Good work there from the 31-year-old. Here's Bracero. Tricky feet. Find a chance for Chicky now. The referee blows her whistle. Assayi was down. And Chicky was wanting to go for goal there. And somehow found Assayi. He then just got taken down. So the first free kick in the Portsmouth half for West Ham. Similar angle to the majority of the last free kicks we saw in the first half. And Shaw is over this one as well. So it'll either be the right foot of Assayi or an in-swinger from Hanshaw. It will be Hanshaw who looks to go for goal, and instead the ball ends up in row C. See, that's the issue as well with the sun glaring down. It's not just on Megan Walsh, but also the rest of the West Ham players. It's like only the attackers don't get to see it at points. You can see them just raising their arms and hands, having to cover the sun so that they actually get a good view of what's in front of them. I'd definitely be happier if I was a Portsmouth player, due to the fact that I wouldn't have to focus on trying to cover up the sun. Just really want your sole focus to be the football game. Here's Hanshaw. Slight miscommunication there between Bellamy and Morgan. This looks promising. Hornby forced to take it wide. And Tisiak gives away a free kick there. I'd say that's fairly harsh on Amber Tisiak. And the referee allows Portsmouth a chance with a set piece from this near side. Looks like it's going to be a one-player wall with Morgan. We've got the number 7 Georgie Freeland over this, the 20-year-old. Doesn't trouble West Ham, and Walsh will have another goal kick to take. Well, some substitutions, as you can see. Shakira Martinez coming on to try and add some firepower up front as she's joined by defender Eva Nystrom. Martinez with 6 goals this season, 4 in the cup, so she enjoys this competition, coming off the back of a goal against Brighton and a brace against Southampton. So Morgan makes way. As Nystrom joins the defence, and Martinez is now up there linking with Asseyi, who was so powerful in that game against Southampton, both getting a brace that evening. Here's Asseyi. I think with the addition of Martinez now, you'll start to see some more chances created, and the keeper Erbor getting tested more. There's Nystrom, almost has her first touch since coming on. And Tisiak, of course, made way for the Finnish centre-half. Some nice patches of play from West Ham. Hanshaw joining in. Now Bellamy from a central position. Lots of blue shirts around there. Playing very narrow Portsmouth, allowing a Asseyi chance on this left-hand side. Cutting and turning her direction. And it's a deep ball, which Martinez will collect. Here's Hussein. Neat, tidy pass towards Wanderler. And a throw-in is the outcome. Rosero. Promising run forward from Rosero. Brought down, just showing a bit too much time on the ball for Portsmouth. Nicely intercepted by Samal, but Portsmouth still come away with a throw. Cheeky. Portsmouth with another throw this time. Some fans get involved. Here's Hannah Cohn. So still no substitutions made by Portsmouth. I'm sure Jay Sadler will be impressed with how his team have been able to put up with this WSL outfit so far. The ball in like that is nicely collected by Walsh, who has one aim, and that's for Asseyi, but she's unable to find her. Instead it's intercepted by Dahu. Now a chance for West Ham to drive forward through Chicky. Martinez just holding her run, ensuring she stays in an onside position. That's a lovely layoff. Chicky one-on-one with the goalkeeper, who courageously comes off her line to deny Chicky. and she gets a knock in the process. But what a run this was. Nicely laid off to Martinez, who could see the return pass, knew exactly what she wanted to do, but just quite couldn't sort her feet out. And it remains goalless before the hour mark. It's the closest West Ham have got to goal since the start of the second half. And the goalkeeper's been involved in 2 collisions so far. That one certainly seemed a bit more meaty than the first one in the first half. Really nice transition shown from West Ham. The defender, Annie Wilding, putting off Chicky as well, who signed from Sheffield United in the summer. The 21-year-old defender doing the defensive work there. Her ball is all good to carry on for the final 30 minutes. So drop ball, and a chance for ball to throw it out wide. It's quickly won back from West Ham. Here's Samal, trying to poke it forward, but instead poking it out the pitch. Going taken quickly, and it's Samal who heads it away. That's a neat pass from Martinez. Here's Brazzero. Falls back out. But it's an ambitious ball played in. He was just hoping for someone to be there. I think a little bit more thought could have gone into that delivery, as there was visibly no one in the area that could have headed that ball towards Erheball. Play will be recycled, and Megan Walsh will have a chance to start play over on that right hand side. Sloppy ball, one back by DeHoot. See the idea from Portsmouth. Play it quickly up the field, but they're unable to find Hornby as Rutherford tried picking her out. Here's Brazzero. Hussein trying to wriggle it around Freeland. And Freeland wins it. And Pompey can't keep it under their spell for long. Nice turn from DeHoot. Once again, West Ham win it back after a few Pompey passes. They're unable to really make any passage of play happen. West Ham end up winning it back. Now Saeed. Forced to switch it. And switch it she does. A lovely touch from Samal. West Ham starting to gather some momentum through Brazzero, who just misfires it. Routine save for Erheball, who comes down low. But it was good build-up, starting from Asseyi, who had to drift into that deep central position to pick out a lovely ball over towards Samal. A deft pass through towards Wanderler. A nice layoff for Brazzero, but she was unable to convert that effort. And they're starting to really find their patterns now. And here's Asseyi. Are they going to open the scoring? Yes, they are. But no, the offside flag is raised, and it remains 0-0. For a brief moment, you felt that Martinez was going to have got her 7th goal for the season. But you can see she is in an offside position beyond the number 14, Annie Wilding. And 2 substitutions now for Portsmouth. So coming off number 9, Emma Jones, the 31-year-old. and Ella Rutherford as well. They're going to be replaced by Jessie Gale, the 19-year-old, the forward who has 3 goals this season. And couldn't quite see who the other one was going to come on. So that's the end of the action for Ella Rutherford and Emma Jones. So Jessie Gale already involved in the action, and she's joined with the 21-year-old Tia Primmer, the midfielder. So like-for-like changes made by Jay Sadler as we approach the final 25 minutes of the game. The sun's gone down and the sun is no longer an issue for this West Ham side. Here's Bellamou. Poor pass from Erhobor, which West Ham will welcome with a throw-in. Easily won in their final third. They may be going for a long throw this time. Trying to find Asei as she gathers her shot, but it's just over. Well, significantly over really from Asei's standards. She just managed to win the second ball. You could see she knew what she was doing as the ball bounced and then came down a second time. But it's over. Just see Brazzero fall into the floor. He's had a good game. Got himself involved in a lot of challenges and efforts going forward. He's putting in a lot of work. And Portsmouth get a corner. There we go, a free kick. Well, it is actually a corner. It was right the first time round. So just time being halted here as one of the Pompey players had to tie up her laces. And that will be an in-swinging delivery. And you can see a cluster of blue shirts towards that far post who now go into a central position. Can they find a head? It'll find the right foot of Chicky. And another corner will be the outcome. A rare moment where we're looking to our right-hand side of the pitch. And this time it's swung in towards that back post, but it's a deep one, and deep to the extent that it goes beyond all the players and out for another West Ham goal kick. So of course, at this moment in the game against Southampton, West Ham would have just gone a goal up. So although it's 0-0, it looks like it may stay that way. You never know what could just be around the corner. Could there be an onslaught of goals? Who knows? Time will tell. Just over 20 minutes left of the game. 20 minutes left for West Ham to try and win all 4 games. As Walsh will clear it, trying to aim Brazzero, but instead it's a lovely touch from Dahoud, but it doesn't end up being a good quality pass. But that is a good pass. Here's Martinez looking to maybe get a goal, but she just fumbles it. Perhaps had a bit too much time on the ball than she would have liked, where she just started to overthink. But it was a really nice pass from Wanderler. And you really fancied Martinez with the form that she's currently got in this competition, but she just quite couldn't poke it home, which she was aiming to do. Get the ball underneath the goalkeeper. Asei looks to the ground as she feels she would have perhaps been a viable option. And Bellamou will try to keep things alive. Here's Hussein. Oh, that's really nicely left, but Bellamou, it's just in front of her. Jessie Gale on the right-hand side, winning a throw-in. Humphreys, who signed on a free from Chelsea this summer. 20 years of age, so got good pedigree as a youth player. Gale, heavy second touch, which allows Wanderler to win it back. Rosero, nice idea as she just turned her body, hoping that she'll be able to play a pass out towards that right-hand side. Nystrom with a heavy touch. This is promising for Portsmouth, though, as they manage to take around the goalkeeper, and they go a goal up as they look for their first win in the League Cup this season, and it comes against a side in the division above. West Ham unfortunate to lose the ball in a really poor position. They're able to then get the better of even Nystrom, who won't want to look at that one back, and then it's Tia Primmer who set up the substitute, Jessie Gale. So the two substitutes who came on for Jay Sadler have combined to open the scoring in a shock result so far. Denton has just joined the action. And that is disappointing. 20 minutes to go. West Ham pegged a goal back here in Havant. As Anouk Denton will try to create some magic from central midfield. Here is Samau looking up towards Martinez as they look for a really quick equaliser. Hussein towards Wanderler. Slight push from Hussein on Tia Primmer. Sees the referee award a free kick for Portsmouth. But the goal once again coming from the player that just won the free kick. That's a really nice finish, it has to be said. Bellamou didn't have a chance on the goal line. A lovely back-heeled effort from the 19-year-old, which takes her to 4 goals this season. Not a bad record so far. This is another chance though for Gale, but she's in a legal position. There's Bellamy. Hanshaw, who moves into defence, into the centre of defence at least. And Denton just sucked in there. To who? Here's Greta Humphreys. Gale. See the final touch came off Hanshaw. It will be a corner kick for Portsmouth, a chance for them to double their lead, won by Jessie Gale, who's really changed the game since coming on. When Shakira Martinez came on, I thought she was going to be the game changer, but it's Jessie Gale so far. Both Portsmouth players have done this when they're going to take a corner kick, where they put both hands on the opposing shoulder, clearly signalling towards that back post, which is where they're wanting to go, and Walsh collects it and rolls it straight out towards Asseyi. You can see the run being made from Wanderler. Say he didn't see that being on. And here's Samau. Hussein. It's a really good ball through to Martinez. She's in an onside position. Surely the assistant referee on the far side raises their flag. And unfortunately, Hussein isn't able to get an assist, as that was a brilliant ball. Let's have a look. That is not offside in the slightest, in my opinion. I shouldn't be too biased. But if you pause it, when the ball's actually being played, one of the defenders, it's the number 14. Look at number 14 here. Now the ball's going to be played. Martinez does make the run in all fairness. But look at where the feet are. If you draw those VAR lines, which fortunately to an extent we don't have yet, but if we did, perhaps Martinez would have had a chance to then make it 1-1. So swingers and roundabouts, say. Greta Humphreys looked to have been playing her on. It remains 1-0. West Ham still look like they've got a chance in them, at least one. Here's Denton. Hanshaw. Nystrom. Over towards Samau. Here's Hussein. Fizzes one in towards the feet of Asai. So another substitution. That's 4 now. Or 5 even. Anouk Denton coming on, and Emily Taylor. Of course, Una Siren was the player to come on earlier. Anouk Denton scored her first goal of the season against Everton last weekend. She'll replace Celine Samau, who in her third start of the season has not looked a foot out of place. Been a strong performer in that back line. As the goal scorer currently is down, having to receive some medical attention. And as for Emily Taylor-Brown, the 18-year-old, only one appearance so far this season. Came on as a substitute for the final 30 minutes against Charlton. She'll come on for the remaining 15 minutes tonight. So Gale just having to be taken off the pitch temporarily. There's Nystrom. So there's a possibility, well, a certainty now that West Ham have the upper advantage in terms of players on the pitch. Here's Hanshaw looking to find a player in the box. It goes beyond Asai, but it's not given up by Taylor-Brown. Comes off her last though in Portsmouth with a goal up. You can see taking their time with things. So of course if West Ham were to get a goal, it would go to penalties. So Portsmouth very happy to just waste time. West Ham will want to ensure that they don't get the chance to do that. So try and prevent corners and throw-ins when you can. Here's Humphreys. Rowbotham's just around her. The field is Gale. She's got Nystrom. Say she can keep that in. It stays in. It's a tight one there. Did look like, well, it was clearly a significant proportion of the ball that was out of the pitch. But was it all of it? I suppose only the assistant referee truly knows. It does go in the way of Portsmouth, so another throw in for them to just take their time with. 10 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Let's substitute Jessie Gale's goal. That puts West Ham a goal down, which could potentially end their 100% record, and of course their unbeaten record. As they'd love to maybe get 2 goals, which feel unlikely given how much time we've got left, but you've got players like Martinez on the pitch. They really can just score goals out of nowhere if they want. Here's a chance now for Una Siren. It's a weak effort, and it's chased by Taylor Brown. That's a poor strike from Siren. Just fizzling and curling away from the goal. Just mishits it there. Interesting how games can work. Of course, West Ham are in better form now. But given what the game was like, or the games were like in the League Cup towards the beginning of the season, Charlton, who are currently top of the Women's Super League 2, haven't lost a game yet. Lost 5-1 to West Ham at the Valley. And then when you look at Portsmouth, who have only won 3 games all season, 6 losses as well, down in 9th. They're currently a goal up against West Ham. Of course, West Ham have already qualified, so there is a difference in mentality, just naturally. But it is funny how football can work, and you can play different opposition who may be in better periods, but the results will never just be linear or the same. Another player down here. So right now, scores around the grounds. Leicester 2 goals down to Crystal Palace. It's a big result for them. Tottenham drawing with WSL2 outfit Bristol City. Newcastle 3-1 down at home to Everton. Sunderland currently drawing in an all-women's champion or Women's Super League 2 tie. And Southampton a goal up against Charlton. And as for London City Lionesses, they're 2-0 up in Suffolk against Ipswich. Those other fixtures. Charlton-Portsmouth was postponed in October, so that will have to be rescheduled at some point. Another substitution for Pompey. On comes Chloe Sheffield, the forward. She's only played 30 minutes this season, and she'll be playing the remaining 7 here in Havant. She replaces number 42, Jemima Dahoud. And it looks like Jessie Woolley is going to now be involved in the action as well. She'll just have to wait her turn. Siren. Back to Nystrom. Charging forwards. Through Denton. Nice layoff towards Taylor Brown. Cleared away though by Hornby. Back to Denton. Tricky feet shown. She sends it in with her left. Martinez manages to get a touch. And it's thumped away. Here's Denton again. And Shaw. Sloppy pass picked up by Hussein, who spots the goalkeeper trying to score a wonder goal, but instead it's collected by Erhabor, and another chance for her to run down the clock. And she kicks it out quickly this time. Finds her head on that far side. Portsmouth tried to look for a second. They've executed this game plan immaculately so far. But West Ham are going to continue throwing what they can at them for the final 5 minutes plus added time. You would imagine it being in around the 4 to 5 minutes at least. If West Ham do get a goal, we will see penalties. Of course, that meaning it to be 1-1. Now Bellamy. It's a high ball. Allows Erhabor plenty of time to see where the ball is going to land. Strong brought forward. Tries to slide in on her player. Gale just glides past her and then spots a really good pass. And then it's 2. Portsmouth surely the winners now, as it's the substitute Chloe Sheffield who scores her first goal of the campaign. She's hardly had any minutes under her belt, but that was an astute finish after she received a brilliant pass that just cut through the West Ham defence, and then underneath Walsh to surely seal the win. Well, a really disappointing second half performance now. Unfortunate. There's a say now in the centre circle for a second time this game. Will there be a late comeback? 3 minutes left. West Ham unfortunately look like they're staring their first League Cup defeat this season in the face. It's a good ball. Switched over, and they could get a third. Struck from the top goal scorer Hornby, straight into the gloves of Megan Walsh. Martinez. Picked up by Siren. But Portsmouth just adding on to their 1-goal lead with such aplomb. The side down towards the negative end of the Women's Champion, or the Women's Super League 2, forgive me. Trying to find Gale, as Walsh calmly plays it towards Hanshaw. Siren trying to slide it in behind towards Asayi. Comes off a West Ham player, and Portsmouth have another throw. Well, it will be disappointing going into the international break off the back of a defeat. Of course, it was a heavily changed side since that 3-1 win against Everton, with a lot of young players and fringe players being given a chance by Rhian Skinner again. They certainly looked positive in points, and arguably could have had some goals, which they could do here. And to say, when you think she's going to find the back of the net, Erhabor denies her once again. Very courageous keeper, just 20 years of age. There's the header from Hannah Cohen. Didn't go where she intended, of course, it just went behind her. And the goalkeeper had to be forced to make the save. Fizz towards Taylor Brown. Just 15 seconds from the 90. Looks to try and swing one in. This would be a very good comeback. The strike from Siren finds the gloves once again. 7 minutes added on. Cleared away. So there is still a chance for West Ham to try and get back in this and to take it to penalties. Here they come through Hallie Hussein. Picking it up to Martinez as she tries to pull it across. Takes it out of play with her. And another goal kick, but a player's down now. A couple for Portsmouth. I think they're absolutely tired. Up against a side, a league above. You can see how fatigued they are as they make their next substitution, which is needed. Erhabor, another goal kick. Eastrom gets her head onto it. Hussein. Back to Hussein. And to slide one in towards Hussein. 5 minutes left of the added time. And Erhabor has actually had a really good game when you look at it. Very confident with the ball at her feet as well. Willing to come out of her box and play like another defender at times. And one thing as well, very courageous. Not afraid to get stuck in and throw her body at the ball when it comes towards her box. Martinez looking to try and pluck the strings from midfield. Just over 4 minutes to go. The more unlikely as the clock is counting down towards the +7. Nystrom. Now Hussein. One of her best passes that we've seen this afternoon. Pressure from Hussein. Opening it up. Trying to get it round. And another great save from the goalkeeper. Launching her body at the ball once again. And that just solidifies that she's probably been the player of the match. She finds herself in some pain as well. But what a display of goalkeeping. Just over 3.5 minutes left now. Here's Rowbotham. Pressed by Bellamy. Finds Sheffield. Sends it right out of play. Bellamy in towards the direction of Hussein. Jesse Willie wins the ball and wins the free kick. So a disappointing end to this block of fixtures in between both the October and November international break, but a chance for them to regroup and go for the last 2 games in 2025. 2 big games, especially the last one. Manchester United's always a big game, but Liverpool, given where both teams are in the league, at the Chigwell Construction Stadium on the 14th of December, that is huge. Going into 2026, both sides will want to be well off the bottom. It would be a great chance for West Ham to get a win there. And hopefully be 5 points plus above Liverpool come New Year. There's Gale. Has had a really positive impact on this game, but can't quite make an impact there by the byline. There's 90 seconds is now remaining of the added time. To sadly see West Ham fall to defeat for the first time in 3 games, or 4 including this one. Hussein looking to find Hussein. Walsh, last real play of the game now. There's 40 seconds remain. Thank you for joining us, everyone, though. It's a shame West Ham couldn't get the right result to finish a perfect group stage in this season's Women's League Cup, but their eyes will be on the quarter-finals. Their place was already sealed, so realistically it's not the be-all and end-all. Of course, you want to win every game. That's a fact and a non-negotiable. But sometimes you can already look at the positives, and it's a big positive that they've made their way into the quarter-finals already. Could be a chance for a third now, cleared away, with the referee pointing to a corner, as this will surely now be the last kick of the game. And it came off Nystrom, and they'll play for the corner flag. The referee wanting to keep this game going. And that is the end of the action. West Ham fall to defeat in the first time in 4 games. Goals from the substitutes of Jessie Gale and Chloe Sheffield that see Portsmouth win 2-0. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody, here in Havant at Portsmouth. You've been joined by me, Ollie Ordis. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday, everybody. Take care and enjoy the international break. We'll be back after then. 2-0 here in Portsmouth.